Over the last several years, you've become known as an expert in the pension program.
Last 13, almost 14 years, I've worked in the securities industry doing pension work, so I have a familiarity with pensions and with the system. I make the argument that the root cause of our difficulties, now hear me out, because this is not what you'll hear from any other elected official, but this is, I believe very strongly in this, and when I make the argument, I think you and your viewers will see what I mean. The root cause of our difficulties, the lack of leadership, the inability to deal responsibly with very tough fiscal issues, is rooted in the fact that all elected officials are in the defined benefit pension system. When we granted defined benefit pensions to elected officials, however many years ago, and that where they weren't bestowed this benefit separately. When you become an employee of the system, whether you're elected or unelected, you are in the defined benefit system. But elected officials should be treated differently, as well as what are known as non-civil service appointees, aka political appointees. When the political class, as I've just defined it, all electeds, all political appointees, when they are in the defined benefit system, you have now created the quote-unquote career politician, because that benefit rewards longevity. The longer I'm in the system, the better I can navigate the salary scale. At the end of that rainbow, whether it be 20 or 30 years down the road, I will have a very substantial pension. It is egregiously abused by elected officials and political appointees. It never gets any coverage. I call it the greatest scandal never exposed. But it drives behavior, it drives the entire political culture. Not just in our politics, it also happens in public education, and it also happens in various levels of public employment. Not all levels, but certain levels of public employment. And it is because of this benefit, a defined benefit pension, a reward for that longevity, that prevents public officials from really putting the interests of their community, of their district, of their state, of their country ahead of their own personal best interest. And as long as that system remains in place, you will never be able to count on any elected official to put the interest of their community ahead of their own personal best interest. And that's why I advocate this, and I've been working on this for over 2 years. Right in the current session, John, it's A5141. And what the bill does is it carves out the entire political class, all electeds from the office of governor to the office of village trustee at the lowest level of government, and all non-civil service appointees, better known as political appointees. It will cap the defined benefit plan for them. What that means is if you're in the system 5 years, at which point you vest, or if you're in your last year or getting close to retirement, that benefit will be capped. It will no longer be able to grow. Now, under the New York State Constitution, which protects the benefits, which requires that benefits be paid regardless of performance of the investment fund, they are guaranteed that benefit. They will receive what they have earned up to that point. But beginning tomorrow, they will be in a 401k, or what is known as a defined contribution platform. And using this under ERISA and Department of Labor guidelines, just as the private sector, up to 100% of their salary to a maximum dollar amount of $16,500. And if they're 50 years of age, they can put an additional catch-up provision of $5,500. The controller, who currently serves as sole trustee of the defined benefit system, can also serve as trustee of this new 401k. It's up to him or her to pick the investment vehicles used, the mutual funds, perform the due diligence, monitor their performance, change when necessary. That person will be in charge, the controller. And now what you've done is you've put the elected official and the other members of the political class on the same side as the taxpayers, the people who are funding their own retirements. We are elected to be fiduciaries of our community's assets. The root cause of our difficulties, the lack of leadership, the inability to deal responsibly with very tough fiscal issues, is rooted in the fact that all elected officials are in the defined benefit pension system. When they are in the defined benefit system, you have now created the quote-unquote career politician. Never gets any coverage. I call it the greatest scandal never exposed. Substantial pension. It is egregiously abused by elected officials. This is not what you'll hear from any other elected official.